Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV on PlayFrame. Who's ready to get back to the Stormblood story for a little while? I'll tell you what, I sure am. I've been enjoying doing all of our side stuff, and there's plenty more to get back to. But I think it's time we got a little bit of momentum going on the main story campaign, starting with the 4.1 patch story that was released not too long after the release of the Stormblood expansion. And I believe the first quest for that is going to start somewhere back here, yes. Perfect. So, Lise, how goes Alamigo things? We bought this freedom with blood, that of our friends and our enemies. I'll be damned if we're gonna give it up again. That's the spirit. I'd be really sad if y'all had given it up already, just in the time I was gone. Lise seems troubled. Oh, well, oh dear.
Come to see how we're getting on?
Yeah.
We've made good progress since we took back Alamigo, but there's one big issue we still have to address. Leadership. The Domans had Lord Hien ready and willing to take the throne, but we've got no one like that here. Theodoric was our last ruler, and he wasn't called the Mad King for nothing.
Suffice it to say, our people have had their fill of kings, which means we need to find a new way forward.
If only it were that easy. Everyone and his uncle has an opinion. For the time being, we're just going to have to keep leaning on General Aldin and the Alliance for support, and see if we can't find a solution together. Something tells me we're going to be hosting a lot of meetings in the near future. But if that's what it takes, I'm ready to talk till my jaw aches.
Go get him.
The Reach is yours, Nago. Don't do anything I wouldn't.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Ah, there you are. I've been searching all over for you.
Hello.
Don't worry, it's nothing bad. That said, this might not be the best place to talk. Will you join me?
You bet I will. You and I haven't gotten to hang out enough yet.
I'll get to the point. Might you be interested in a spot of adventure? After all, we were adventurers before we were scions, were we not?
You make a good point.
After routing the Imperials and liberating Alamigo, I reckon we've earned a bit of respite, don't you? And what better way to spend it than by returning to our roots? So, what say you? Shall we call on Alphino and go adventuring?
I bet he'd love that. Twist my arm, why don't you? Well, all right. Am I fetching Alphino, or are you? Right then. Let's go and find Master Leveilleur. Actually, leave that to me. I want you fresh for our little adventure. Wait for us by the Aetheryte, and we'll be along shortly. See you there. Okay. Appreciate it. It's not often someone else volunteers to go fetching someone or something for me. I guess a fellow adventurer would understand, wouldn't they? All right, fellow adventurers. Where are you? Hey, bud. Greetings, Derman. 'Twould seem we are to accompany Arenvald on some manner of escapade. Have you any idea of what we've gotten ourselves into? Allow me to explain. It'll be something of a history lesson, but I'll try to be brief. No snoring, if you please. No, the events I would speak of occurred before the occupation, back when Alamigo was still a monarchy and Theodoric sat the throne. A uniquely brutal despot by all accounts. That he was. The King of Ruin suffered no rivals, real or imagined, and his dispute with the monks of the Fist ended with Rhalgr's Reach being burned to the ground. In the latter years of his rule, he was seized by the unshakable belief that unseen forces were conspiring to steal his crown, and so he ordered that every soul with a claim to the throne be executed, including his own family. The wealth of the poor sods he put to death became the property of the king, and it said that these royal treasures were hoarded somewhere in the palace. Thus was born the legend of the Mad King's Trove. Ah, I believe I see the direction our adventure is to take. I assume you have a mind to unearth this hidden bounty. You assume correctly. And would I also be correct in assuming that this legend is widely known? Others must surely have gone in search of your prize, tempting as it seems. Well, of course, we won't be the first to make the attempt. Following Alamigo's liberation, more than a few eager soldiers turned the palace upside down in hopes of claiming an easy fortune. But even after scouring every room from dawn till dusk, they uncovered not a single coin. Their gold lust drained away as quickly as it had come, and the legend of the Mad King's Trove remains simply that, a legend. But I see you have no intention of letting the story end there. What self-respecting adventurer would? Imagine, the three of us, delving into a decades-old mystery. Tell me the thought doesn't set your heart to racing. Yeah, a little bit. I am in. Bad news. You will be tanking and healing for me, respectively. Actually, no, you may not. No, you won't be. Ah, we've learned a new emote. Boxing. What on earth does boxing look like? Hang on. Box. I don't know what I expected. Looks good, though. Get him, Derman. You're not a monk anymore, but, you know, get him. Okay. If anyone can find that treasure, it's us. But even if we don't, this adventure will be reward enough, I reckon. That's a good spirit to go in to a treasure hunt with low odds of success with. You can almost see the wheels turning in Alphino's head. The news of Doma and Alamigo's liberation has kindled the flames of revolution in every corner of the Empire. I hear the imperial province of Dalmasca has already risen up in rebellion. Which means the Garleans must surely have their hands full. What better time than now to indulge in such a diversion? Tell us, Arenvald, have we any clues as to where we might begin our search? Well, judging by how the other treasure hunters fared, nosing about the palace isn't like to get us anywhere. So, we'll probably need to, ask around. Would that be another way of saying no? Well, yes. I see. In that case, I shall pay a visit to the Allied archivists and request access to the records seized from the Imperials. The Garleans are meticulous about such things. If they uncovered the Trove during their occupation, the event is certain to have been recorded. In the meantime, the two of you can track down those who worked as palace servants and officials in Theodoric's day. Given that they would have been at least 20 at the time, you will be looking for people who have seen 40 summers or more. Anything they can tell you about the king and his bloody deeds may prove useful, so be sure to listen well. Arenvald, pray try your luck in the fringes and the peaks, whilst Derman makes the rounds in the Alamigan quarter. Ha! And there I was thinking I was the party leader. Not that I mind, of course. Let's be about it, eh? We can meet afterwards at Gilbard's Gate. It's a plan, then. Alrighty. Looks like I need to head to, the Alamigan Quarter, and check in with some folks. See you there. Okay, and we are back in Alamigo. Let's ask around. Hello? In the palace? No, not me, lad. Surely you've heard stories of the Mad King. He used to hold public executions up on the Divine Audience. Anyone, and I mean anyone, suspected of conspiring against the crown was flung from the top of those steps. Suffice it to say that I stayed as far away from the palace as possible. That sounds like a wise way to live at that time. Anyone else? You? You want to hear an old maid's stories, do you? Aye, well, most of what I know of the Mad King is common knowledge. We'd only see his royal majesty when he deigned to attend the executions he'd ordered, and after a while, even watching his enemies die wasn't enough to coax him out of hiding. They say he started seeing assassins in every shadow and wouldn't set foot outside the palace walls. I was offered work there as a royal servant once, but the mere thought of it left me in a cold sweat. Yeah, that seems like a job offer to not take. Anyone else? You there. Aye, I served at the pleasure of King Theodoric, and lived to tell the tale. One of the palace guards, I was. Truth be told, it was a dark chapter in my life, and one I'd sooner forget. Hardly a night went by when we didn't hear blood-curdling screams echoing from the inner chambers, which, of course, we were under orders to ignore. So we'd stand still as statues, trying not to imagine what horrors were unfolding within. If you're hell's-bent on finding out what happened in the palace, head down the street here and ask old Arenvald. He was the head king's scribe. Oh, now that sounds like a lead. Thank you. Arenvald! Arenvald, I seek information. Yes, I'm Arenvald. What do you want with me? You would have me dredge up some decidedly unsavory memories. Yet if Alamigo is to move forward, we must needs acknowledge the misdeeds of the past. Very well. I shall tell you what I remember. I take it you know of Theodoric's paranoia and the public executions of his kinsmen. Those were terrible enough, but in his last days, the king's fevered mind settled upon an even grislier method of disposal, which only a chosen few were unfortunate enough to witness. His Majesty ordered the court thaumaturge to unleash a vile curse upon the remaining members of the royal family, a magic which transformed them into fiends of hideous aspect. The resulting monstrosities were then cast into the darkness below the palace. Even now my sleep is troubled by nightmares. If others of Theodoric's blood were prone to share his madness, then mayhap it is a kindness that the monarchy ended with him. Sounds like. That's very helpful though, thank you. Arenvald! Hey team! I found information. Ah, excellent timing as ever. We have but this moment returned from our own intelligence-gathering efforts. And how did those go? Since we're all here, why don't we share what we've learned? Allow me to begin, then. As promised, I scoured the Imperial records for any mention of fantastic treasures, and found precisely none. It is just possible, I suppose, that a corrupt official deliberately hid the fact of the Trove's discovery, hoping to enrich himself, but I find it rather unlikely that so valuable a find would stay secret for long. I conclude that our prize either does not exist, or that the Imperials somehow overlooked it. But what of you, Derman? Were your investigations any more fruitful? You bet they were. I think. Turned into monsters. And what could he mean by this darkness beneath the palace, I wonder? I met an old man in Alighieri who spoke of the palace's subterranean prison, but he said naught of cursed abominations. The Imperial archives were also silent on the subject of fiends inside the palace grounds. Could this scribe fellow have been spinning him a yarn, do you think? Did you believe him, Derman? His fear did seem very genuine. If he was afraid, that does lend credence to the tale, though I'm not sure how that helps us in our search. Do not be so hasty. Arenvald's anecdote may very well have told us where the trove is hidden. But ere I share my theory, there is a matter I would clarify. Arenvald, you spoke of light-hearted adventure, but I sense a deeper motive for this expedition. Why are you so intent on finding this treasure? It wasn't all pretense, I swear it, but you're right. My father was in the Imperial Army, a man of Garlean blood. I trust you know what I mean when I say that my Alamigan mother did not welcome my arrival. As I grew, she would check my brow over and over, convinced that a spot on my skin was an emerging third eye, like the kind you see in pure-blood Garleans. My mother did not care for this taunting reminder of my heritage, and took up a knife. War paint serves to cover the scar. In the end, she turned me out into the street, and I was left to haunt the alleyways of Alamigo. A feral child who got what he needed through begging, cunning, or worse. The best I can say about the years that followed is that I survived, but I hated the animal I'd become. Eventually, I left the city behind me and joined a group of refugees bound for the other side of the wall. It was then that I turned to adventuring, and that road led me into the company of the Scions. I tell you this so that you understand. I know all too well what poverty and hunger can do to a person. I drew steel on ordinary folk for a measly crust of bread. With Theodric's gold, I could spare my countrymen the shame of living like that. Thank you, Arenvald, and I apologize. That cannot have been pleasant to recall. But I felt it best to be clear in our intentions. Well, Dermot? Are you content to surrender the treasure to Arenvald's noble cause and claim the thrill of adventure as your reward? Oh, sure. Then I should be glad to tell you my theory on the resting place of the Mad King's Trove, if you are minded to hear it. Oh no, don't let me rush you. I wouldn't want to rush your big detective parlor scene reveal. Do I want all this? I don't think I really do, but yeah, it's fine. Well, out with it. What's this theory of yours? No, when he's ready, when he's ready. Alphino seems eager to share his theory. Oh, I know. Actually, mayhap it would be better if we first adjourned to a more suitable location. In case a rival treasure hunter overhears our plans, you mean? Good thinking. That was not exactly the reason, but 'tis certainly a valid concern. Let us reconvene on the southern edge of Logsdon. Take your time, Inspector. Let's go meet that little goofball there. No, you're right. A suitably dramatic setting. Come now, Alphino, don't leave us in suspense. Let's hear this theory of yours. You're loving this, aren't you? Forgive me. 'Twas not my intention to draw out proceedings. I simply wished to have the lock in sight while I explained things. Oh, so visual aids then. Prior to the great flood of the 6th Umbral Calamity, the salt lakes you see before you were yet dry ravines. And this, believe it or not, was the site of the ancient city of Skalla, which rose and fell during the 5th Astral Era. From what we know of the period, the city was already deserted by the time the waters began to rise, having been all but destroyed by war. I was wondering what all the ruins down there were. It seemed weird having so many Alamigan ruins, buried beneath such a deep, deep pool, but this makes way more sense. Yet its ruins remain to this day at the bottom of Logsdon. It is my belief that the darkness beneath the palace, mentioned by Theodric's former scribe, was not a reference to the person, but to a place still further below, the ruins of Skalla. I further surmised that the Mad King's unfortunate kinsmen were cast down there not simply out of a desire to punish them, but to discourage exploration. Theodric wanted to keep the ruins secure. Wait, you're saying they were meant to guard the Mad King's Trove? Precisely. And since we know the court thaumaturge was involved, we can safely assume that any entrance into the old city will have been magically concealed. Which would explain how a legion of Imperial soldiers and the gods know how many Alamegans never found a trace of the Trove. We, however, have certain advantages which they did not enjoy. Dermot, would you be so good as to swim down to the bottom of the loch and search for an underwater route into the ruins? While you do that, Arenvald and I will seek out an ensorcelled portal within the palace. Sounds good. Good detectiving, buddy. Worth the dramatic wait. All right, let's go do a dive. I say, a dive. There we go. Yeah, let's explore this a little more thoroughly. We were in such a rush last time. Cool. This is probably our entrance here. Statuary and everything. Neat. Found it. You discover a passage that appears to lead under the palace foundations. Press on and find out where it goes. Let's do. Oh, hello. I see I'm not the only one on this quest. You come to a worn stone door standing temptingly ajar. It would appear you found an entrance into the subterranean ruins. Not one terribly suitable to Alphanos, though. Derman, it's Alphano. We've searched the prison beneath the palace and found a door concealed by enchantments. Have you aught to report? Found a door. And you believe it leads into the ruins? Excellent. Then I propose we proceed from our respective entry points and look to meet somewhere in the middle. Oh, come on, lads, we might as well make it a race. Victory goes to the first adventurer to find the treasure. Godspeed. And there we are. It's a dungeon! And, well, I would be doing trusts for this one, in which case I'd probably be able to go in with both Alphano and Arenvald and... I don't know who else we'd be bringing in that hypothetical scenario. But in this case, they have not yet added trusts into the dungeons and the Stormblood patches, so I'm going to be needing to get some friend help again. One moment. Okay, and we're back. Got ourselves a little tiny crew of friends. I'll introduce them inside. Also, boy, little do they know that I'm playing ninja in a dungeon for like the first time ever today, so that's bad news for them. I'll hide my face to conceal my identity. Anyway, let's see, that's not the one. This is the one. The drowned city of Skalla. Long ago, in the dawn of the 5th Astral Era, the modest nation of Skalla was founded in the land of Garabania. Over the span of several centuries, its people constructed a grand city of stone at the bottom of a deep-welled ravine. But even this natural defense could not protect Skalla from destruction during a terrible age of war. When the great flood of the 6th Umbral Calamity later swept across the realm, the hollow ruins of the city were lost to sight, its remnants submerged beneath a raging sea. Haunting the depths of what is now Logsdon, Skalla's silent walls lure adventurers into the salt-laden waters with the promise of mysteries unsolved and treasures unclaimed. Let's see what we can find down there. Join and... Oh, hang on. That was weird. There, that time it worked. All right, and commence! The drowned city of Skalla. Good-looking group. Let's introduce everyone. Hey, my pose broke in my portrait. That's okay, they're kind of finicky sometimes. Tanking today for us will be... Hang on. Tanking today for us will be... Mirgenstirm. Our healer will be Waven, and Alice will be helping me with the damage. And that's an irrelevant menu. But yes, thank you for joining me, you three. Let's do this thing. And now, let's get to playing Ninja badly! Good vibes down here. I love the just shallow trickle of water kind of under our feet down this path. It's very good. That's so many of these things. And our first boss is here. The Kelpie, who I've not fought in a long time. I'm very rusty on all this. Let's get him. Let's see. All right. Hydro push. We need to all line up over here because we're about to get pushed, and we do not want to be standing outside of the square. Kelpie's going to be knocking us around with water a lot. Spread out. Oop, now I'm being targeted. Let me run it over here. There we go. Ouch. Youch. And I got hydro pulled as well. Bad positioning on my part. It's okay. We're hanging in there. There's so many things to pay attention to as a ninja, if you haven't gotten muscle memory for all of it yet. But we got it. There we go. Hooray. Cool, boss. Into the next area. Love the old temple ruins look of all this. Cool vibe. Get worn down. You dare stand between us and possible treasure? Ooh. The old one. Very cool looking. Let's do it. I started using the snap as a signal for when to go ahead and attack the thing. Because the folks know I'm recording things, and they don't always know when I'm, like, done talking about something and when I'm ready to actually fight. This seems like the fastest way to let them know. Ah, jeez. We gotta take these out. There we go. You, die. Activate clunk transformation. What now? Oh. Well. Now I just am a bunny. Let's try to hit these things with little bombs and rocks. What a cute little thing to have happen in the middle of a boss fight. Die. Oh no. Ah, we beat it. Good enough, I say. Let's press on. I'm seeing things that are looking an awful lot like treasures. Promising sign. All right, now we're going to need to turn into little floaty ghosts so that we can make it over this gap. You just gotta do that as an adventurer sometimes, you know? Turn into a floaty ghost, cross a gap. Adventuring 101. There we are, and now another transformation, and we cross the gap. What little nightmares we are. There we go. Final boss time. What's it gonna be? Oh my. Cool. Love the look. Oh, here I come. Intimidating. The Roderick Poison Tongue. Let's do this thing. Go get him, squad. Grah, kill! Kill you all! Is that any way to treat guests? Apologies to all ninja mains, by the way. Oop. I foresee a big right arm swing. Nope, tail swipe. I was positioned for the wrong kind of thing. Not ideal. Whoop. Stand back. We're doing okay. Whoop. Stand away from that. That's targeting one of us, so one of us has to kind of like move that somewhere advantageous. Whoop. Don't look at the eye. Also, don't be near that. Lots of things to not be near. I feel targeted. I am targeted. My lack of memory of this fight is not serving me well. Look out. Two of our party members targeted by two different things with different AoEs. It can be very tricky in the moment to not panic. Oh, see, I'm one of them now. I'm gonna see if I can just carry this away from everyone. There. Tail swipe. Ah, I thought I was far enough away. Not a range thing for that one, I guess, just a sort of a relative positioning. Whoop. Stand away. Oh boy, that's a lot. Let's not be... Oh, wait, no, wait, we do need to be stacked up for this one. Sometimes you get hit with symbols like that and you want to, like, carry it away from everyone and not get all, stacked up together. Sometimes you need to actually, like, stack together the matching colors and symbols. That's a tail. Don't be near the tail. Whew. I remembered. I dodged a mechanic. It's a miracle. Yep. Okay, let me get this away from everyone. Most everyone. That's gonna be a beam. All right. And we did it, despite my efforts. Way to go, team! It's amazing the difference just playing a different job that you're less used to makes, because you're so focused on like trying to remember your moves and all your rotations and whatnot that it can suddenly be very easy to forget, like, oh wait, keep watching the boss. Watch for those moves. Learn to avoid. Thank you all. You three did great, especially considering how poorly I did. You all were fantastic. Thank you, Mirgensturm, Alice, and Waven, for a very good dungeon run. Way to carry us through it all. You're all heroes and champions. Okay, I should head back out and see if Arenvald and Alphino are okay.
Oh, bugger it.
Are you all right?
Aye. Everything's still attached.
Hello.
Ah, it seems both our paths led here. Very good. We spent altogether too much time fleeing fiends horrid and numerous. How fared you?
I ninja'd perfectly, and no one is here who can say otherwise.
Much the same, then. 'Twould appear this place is yet inhabited by King Theodoric's kin, or what is left of them. The work of terrible magics, I fear.
Terrible, aye. But their misfortune is our fortune?
Quite. By the 12, there is even more than I imagined.
Oh, I can't wait to see the look on Lisa's face. Thanks for believing in me, you two.
Anytime. Thanks for inviting us. For some good old-fashioned adventuring. It was a grand time. Our path was dark, treacherous, and fair crawling with abominations. Long story short, it was a proper adventure. It sure was. Arenvald and I forged ahead at the fastest pace we could manage, but I was not surprised to find you waiting for us. I suppose it serves us right for challenging the Warrior of Light. Next time we should agree on some manner of handicap. We may have lost Alphino, but think of what we found. Quite. I'm still reeling at the sight of that mountain of riches. What, like how you reeled at the sight of that floating specter, you mean? You should have heard him scream, Derman. Boy, everyone dunks on you now. But must we dwell on such momentary lapses? We found the Mad King's Trove, and that's all that matters. It's okay to be scared of ghosts. You've had a lot of actual ghost encounters. It's pretty reasonable, I think. Anyway, thank you all for watching. We will continue the 4.1 story next time. Take care until then, all of you, and goodbye!